we are doing our driver standings from 20th to 1st. Hand over to Kieran, who will say his bottom driver. There we go.
So, my bottom driver in P21, Gabriel Bortoletto. Not because he's a bad driver, obviously F2 champion. So he's clearly got some skill, but I just don't like an inexperience in arguably what is probably going to be the worst car on the grid. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be much.
Yeah, so
much to he's in this year, unfortunately, but I feel like he's a driver that we should keep an eye on.
Yes.
Over the next few years.
So he's definitely got talent. I can see why you've gone for Bortoletto in P21. Okay. My P21 is the rookie of Jack Doohan. Yes, I have a sneaky suspicion that he's going to last 6 races. And a certain man that I put higher up will take over from Jack Doohan. He is none other than the reserve driver currently at Alpine, Franco Colapinto. So yeah, back to Jack Doohan though. So I genuinely don't think Jack Doohan's going to perform. It's hard to explain why I think this. I just think the added pressure of Franco Colapinto, who has been in F1 car already, has a little bit more experience, I'd say, on his back constantly. And I just think he'll crackle under the pressure and unfortunately get outpaced completely by Pierre Gasly and just not get the results that Alpine need. And Alpine's just going to go, well, we've got Franco Colapinto just sitting on our reserve. We're going to swap you two over. So perhaps Jack Doohan doesn't leave F1 completely. So he might just go back to a reserve driver of Alpine. But that's just my prediction there. So that is P21 is Jack Doohan.
Do you want to do your P20?
P20, yes, sorry. So my P20 is another rookie from RB Racing Bulls, is Isaac Hadjar. I have put Isaac Hadjar 20th, mainly on the basis that I think some spoilers, because if you haven't seen the constructors, you actually might want to go see the constructors before this one. I put V-Carb ahead of Sauber on my constructors' predictions. However, I think they'll be very close. So I think RB, sorry, that's their call now, and Sauber will be interchangeable. And that might be because of the two rookies of Bortoletto and Isaac Hadjar. I just think out of the two, Bortoletto is slightly the better driver. I could be wrong on that one. I just feel like Bortoletto had Isaac Hadjar in F2 last year. I just feel like Bortoletto is going to carry that steam towards F1, and Hadjar might. I think you still have the confidence and to prove himself, obviously against Yuki, etc. So yeah, Isaac Hadjar is P20 for me.
Yeah. My P20 is Mr. Jack Doohan.
Ooh, okay.
Just sort of the reasons you said. I also think he'll not get dropped completely, but he won't race the full season as a full-time driver. But I do think he will last maybe a little bit longer than 6 races.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he will race close to half the season, which would obviously be 12. I think he would race 9 or 10, and it would get to obviously what's deemed as silly season, and they'll be like, look, fella, you're not doing what we want you to do. And obviously, as you mentioned as well, a certain driver, certain Argentinian driver that's going to be sat on the sidelines for what I believe to be about 10 races or so, they'll be like, Franco Colapinto has shown what he can do in an F1 car near the end of last season, and I just think he could bring not only more pace and better results, but I think he could also bring a bit more consistency, because I don't think Jack Doohan is going to be a consistent driver. He might he might say score a few points every now and then because the Alpine is quite a decent car. If it's anything like the 2024 one. But I just think he'll go from like scoring reasonable points, finishing like 6th, 7th, to like crashing out in the next race.
All right, okay.
So I don't think he would find that consistency, which I think Colapinto has a higher chance of finding.
Yep. Okay.
As well as just overall, in my opinion, being the better driver.
Okay. Ooh.
I think he will only tip out Bortoletto mainly just on the car.
Yep. Yeah. Was your P19?
My P19 is Isaac Hadjar.
Hadjar. Ooh.
I didn't want to put the bottom 3 all rookies because obviously there is a chance that a rookie improves.
Yes.
Like actually shocks people, but there was this driver and another driver beginning with H that I was like, oh, where do I put these two? Because I feel like they'll be quite close. But I'm gonna go for Isaac Hadjar in my 19th.
Yeah.
I feel like these 3 rookies that are near the bottom are gonna be like I think there's gonna be a big gap between this group of rookies and the other group of rookies. So I think there's going to be a big gap between this group of 3. Then I feel like there's one that is going to be very mid-table, and then the other 3. I have two in the top 10. I only have 2 in the top 10, but one of them's just outside the top 10. So
interesting. Okay.
These 3 are the only 3 in the bottom 5.
Right. Battle for P19.
It's inexperience as well as having what could be quite inconsistent machinery.
Okay. Mine P19 is Gabriel Bortoletto. I just think that Bortoletto will perform slightly better than Hadjar and Doohan. I don't think neither Bortoletto or Hadjar will lose their seat like Jack Doohan. I just feel like over the cross of the whole season, I think Bortoletto will perform better than Hadjar, hence putting him P19. But again, you never know what the cars can do and how upgrades progress throughout the year. You might have RB going up to mid-table and Sauber staying dead last, or vice versa. So Bortoletto has the edge over Isaac Hadjar this season. So, but yes. My P18 is Bortoletto's teammate Nico Hülkenberg. I've got Nico Hülkenberg in P18. He will outperform Bortoletto, but I think the car will let Nico Hülkenberg down. We've seen what he's done in the Haas. He's had multiple Q3s last season, multiple points last season, outscoring both of his teammates. Remember, Ollie Behrman also came into that Haas as well, a couple of races last season. He's just been, I feel like last season, for me, he was actually probably my driver of the season. Because, yes, perhaps he wasn't in the top 5 best cars, but he still, I think, pushed that Haas up the order quite a bit. So, fortunately, it won't be the same for this year, and he will be P18 in the Sauber.
I've got the same. Nico Hülkenberg, P18, mainly just for the same reasons as you. He's got talent, but it's a Sauber.
Yeah, so the car let him down, if you will.
What can you do with a Sauber? It's just the same reasons. There's no point in me going on a tangent.
Yeah.
It's basically just the same thing. But yeah, so it's time for
Your P17, I believe.
I have gone for, and this could be a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
I've gone for Alex Albon.
Ooh, okay, that has actually surprised me. Okay.
Alex Albon is P17. He's not going to be the main driver anymore. They just Williams snatching Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
He is going to get so much attention at Williams.
Yeah.
That I don't think obviously they're going to completely ignore Albon, but I also just don't think he's gonna perform. He's gonna be I feel like he'll have a decent start to the season, but then he'll slowly fade away like he did last year. You look at the back end of 2024, and you would have like Colapinto being like very close to Albon, if not sometimes outscoring him.
Yes.
So I think he's going to slowly fade through the season. And with how close my sort of my back 8 is, I think that's going to be massive for Albon. He's going to find himself quite low down the table. But I do also think because Williams is one of those teams that are going to be focusing on 2026 a lot, that with him being the second driver, his car is not going to get anywhere near as much money as Sainz, I don't think. So, but he will keep his seat. He'll keep his seat.
Wait, no, back that. Okay, my P17 is Franco Colapinto is my 17th.
Okay.
I think he will come in just after... let me get a fact check on what race it is. Miami, I think he will come in. I think it'll be the week between Miami and Imola. I don't think we'll see Jack doing in Imola. And I think the driver replacing him is obviously their reserve driver in Franco Colapinto, which I think throughout the rest of the season will gather points. I don't think he will be... I don't want to say far away from Pierre Gasly in terms of pace. I just think, for me, I don't think Alpine as a whole will be in the points a lot. And
yeah,
I think Gasly will end up in perhaps, let's say, P8 or P7 to P10. Franco Colapinto won't be far behind, but he'll just be out the points, which was why I've put him 17th, because I think he will outperform Hadjar, outperform two Saubers, and obviously those three have had 6 more races to compete for points. I really like him. I think he'll do really well. He showed pace in the Williams last season, so there's no reason why in that Alpine he shouldn't perform and get points. So yeah, Franco Colapinto P17 for me. My P16 is Lance Stroll. Stroll is in P16 in the Aston Martin. But generally, I think he has shown some of his talent. Maybe not in the last couple of years as such, but he showed his talent sometimes, and he's quite a good qualifier. I feel like you've seen it in racing point.
He actually is.
I just feel like he cracks under pressure really easily, and having a 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Yes, Fernando being the rookie, in the pairing, it's still a lot of pressure, and he's not living up to sort of his idol, as if you will. So, yeah, you could have put Lance Stroll higher. For me, he actually originally was higher up. I just had switched him with another driver, which you will hear in a bit. Just because I think the other driver will just perform slightly better than Stroll. But nothing against Stroll, I just feel like the Aston might not be as quick this year.
P16 Franco Colapinto, yeah, sort of, yeah. I don't think he'll be able to bring himself too far up if he's only racing half a season, but I think he will do a good job with that half season. I feel like he will
do a decent job, Jerome. Do a decent job.
I think he'll do a decent job. I think he'll do that good of a job. He will then sign a multi-season contract with Alpine, and he will be the teammate to Gasly for, I think, 2-3 years after this.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so Colapinto 16, it's sort of similar reasons to you, it's just he's bumped up higher because of my shock Albon placement.
Yes, yeah, okay, no, 16, 17 for Franco Colapinto, seems like we're on the same wavelength there.
I 15, Lance Strolovic. Stroll. Oh, fella.
I've brought a mare.
I forgot to put in
You forgot to put in a driver.
Forgot to put in a driver.
Wait, how does that work? Because didn't you start at P21?
Yes, I only have 20 on this. But it's fine. It's fine. I haven't got to where I think he will be anyway. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, P15, Lance Stroll. I think, yeah, I wanted to put him up a place. But I feel like the next couple of drivers would just be really close together. And yeah, I think I couldn't bring him up there as sort of separate these drivers because I don't think he's arguably better than one. But yeah,
my P15 is an angry man from Japan. It is Yuki Tsunoda in P15. Good driver, good solid driver. I think he will have a lot of, I don't want to say anger in him. It might be a mix of anger and disappointment that he didn't get a certain Red Bull seat. But that might actually give him confidence to actually prove himself this season. And obviously, as I said for Isaac Hajar and RB, it depends on how they upgrade through the season. Because, I'm not going to lie, you might see Yuki in the points quite a lot. Yes, he's P15 for me, but I could see him in the P9 and a P10 on quite a few occasions. But I think, say he's getting a 1 point every other race, over the course of a 24 race season, that's only 12 points. So that's probably why I've put him in P15. So yeah, Yuki Tsunoda P15. So it is Oliver Behrman. Oliver Behrman is P14. In the Haas, I think Haas will be a mid-table team this season. Fighting for low points, as well as fending off the likes of Alpine and Aston Martin, RB as well. I don't think he will outperform his teammate Ocon, who I put slightly higher up. I think he'll do a decent job. I feel like I think he knows the Haas team quite well, and he knows the factory. He knows he's immersed himself in the team, having been the reserve driver and coming in for Kevin Magnussen. Yeah. When Kevin Magnussen got that race ban and did quite well, as I recall. He did quite well on that Haas. And I think P14 for him is a decent first full season in F1. So yeah, Ollie Behrman is my P14.
He's mine too.
Oh, okay. Same wavelength there. Let's go.
I just think, again, I'm imagining they want him to be Lewis Hamilton's replacement at Ferrari, hence why they haven't put him all the way down at the Sauber, because obviously Sauber has Ferrari as sort of that sort of umbrella, isn't it, really?
Yeah, for this season, yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, so for this season, it's sort of under that umbrella. So they've sort of put him in the middle team of that. And I think if he could show that he can perform in that, and if the Haas is anything like last year's Haas, I don't see why he constantly scores points, and I don't see why both Haas don't score constant points.
Yep. No.
But yeah, so I think in a few years' time we'll see him in a top car, and I feel like he is one of very few rookies on this list, obviously being 6-7 rookies. I would argue that there's only 2 rookies that are this, and that is future world champion potential.
Okay, yeah.
He is one of them.
I back that, actually, yeah.
But yeah, I've got Behrman 14th, like you, sort of similar reasons as to what you say. My 13th is a driver separating the teammates. I've got Yuki Tsunoda here.
Yay. We like Yuki.
Little Yuki in 13th. It's just sort of for the similar reasons you said, which is why he's quite close to where you've put him. I think he'll just tip out Behrman by like 2 points, 3 points. Yeah. I feel like the mid-table battle, this year is going to be very, very interesting. I feel like people are always looking at the championship battle, and it's like, well, obviously, but I think the mid-table battle this year is going to be pretty cool as well.
Valid.
Yeah. But yeah.
My P13, separating the 2 Haas teammates, is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly in P13.
Oh.
Mainly because where I've put Alpine in the constructors standings, if I put Gasly too much higher up, it wouldn't add too much, but he will outperform his 2 teammates. And do you know what? Gasly for me is probably one of the most underrated drivers. But I think it has been throughout his career. Obviously, he had that short stint at Red Bull, and obviously that's knocked him back a bit. But I don't think that's affected him too much. obviously he'd been with, I think he was with AlphaTauri. Then obviously that moved to... Actually, no, he was with AlphaTauri, and then he jumped ship to Alpine, which I think was probably his best move of his career. So obviously he outperformed Ocon and shaped himself as team lead. He will continue to be the number one driver in 2025. I think P13 of where I think the Alpine will be is a solid place to put him.
So in my P12, I have the other Haas of Esteban Ocon. He's going to outperform Behrman, but barely. Barely. Oh god. Anyway, yeah, I think he's gonna be the highest scoring Haas, but yeah, very very slightly, but yeah.
That joke was
yeah, he's your
my P12 is also Esteban Ocon, barely ahead of Behrman. Yeah, so Ocon P12, I think he will outperform Behrman. I think he will be Ocon the ball this season. At Haas, I think he will shape into the number one driver this season. And I think, as I said, I think Haas will be a mid-table team, so they'll probably get points. Might just miss out the points. So that's my P12 in Ocon. My P11 is... Really? My P11 is Alexander Albon in P11. So I've gone much higher than you have for Albon. Mainly because I think Albon and Sainz will be very close together. I don't think there will be a number one driver. I think that there will be... I don't want to say there will be two number one drivers, but I think this season will be about which driver warms up to the team like more quickly, if you get what I mean. So it's more like, will Sainz come in and trounce Albon, or will Albon hold his own and actually match Carlos on pace and everything? So I put Albon highly because if you have seen the Constructors episode, I know I keep plugging the first episode, but this is important because they both link. I've put Williams quite highly, and if I'm putting Williams quite highly, I have to put the drivers quite highly. So Albon P11.
My P11 is Pierre Gasly.
Nico Hülkenberg. Yes, go on.
Jesus. I think we're going to see a 2021 Pierre Gasly this year.
I would love to see that.
I think if last season's anything to go by, last season was by far his best season since 2021.
Oh yeah.
But I think he's gonna top season last year. Will he top 2021? I'm not sure. Obviously, he won in an AlphaTauri, which was the arguably worst car at the time. So technically, I don't see why he wouldn't win in an Alpine. But I unfortunately don't see him getting a win. But I could see him getting a podium, like genuinely again. So I think we're going to see 2021 Pierre Gasly back this season, which is why I've got him quite high up in P. Is that 11?
It is P11. It was 2020 Gasly. AlphaTauri finished P7. With one win, one podium.
I was wondering.
I mean, easy mistake to do, and Gasly finished P10 with AlphaTauri with 75 points. Let me fact check 2021, see if he had a better season. He finished P9, so you were right with actually he had a better season overall, more points. Didn't get a win that season, but he did get a podium in AlphaTauri. And AlphaTauri finished P6. So, sorry, just thought I'd do my job and fact check everything, because I like to do that. But,
yeah, I mean...
But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to fact check you there.
Fans P10? It's Carlos Sainz, isn't it?
Carlos Sainz.
I think he's going to really push the Williams this season, and I think he will get in the top 10, but I don't think he'll get any higher, just because, obviously, the gap between the top 4 cars and everyone else is just so good.
No, back that. Yeah, I think so. Also, from where you've put Sainz and then you put Albon, so you really think there's going to be that big of a gap between Sainz and Albon this season?
I actually do. Yeah,
fair enough. Not many people actually have the balls to say that. Actually, fair enough. Do you know what? Fair play to you. Yeah, no.
But by no means is that saying that Albon is a bad driver. He's talented. He's talented. It just sucks.
He might not So I know what you say. So, I mean, we obviously.
I just think like Sainz going from Ferrari to Williams. I just think.
You think he's gonna have a lot of confidence to prove himself? Let's be probably to Ferrari. That hold on, you've let the wrong driver go there. Actually, okay.
I think he'll want to prove himself to not just Ferrari, but just to everyone.
Yeah.
And not just teams, but to fans, to just the world, that he is a top driver, so why isn't he in a top car?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? Fair enough. So, my P10 and my favourite rookie on the grid is Fernando Alonso in P10 for me. I think he just puts himself into the top 10. And I'll just say this off the bat. It is not Fernando Alonso. Why he's so... I mean, I wouldn't say he's so far down, actually, because I think he finishes around the P... Obviously, in 2023, he finished P4? P4, I think, in 2023.
I believe so.
I think.
Because
that Aston Martin was very good in 2023. 2024, however... Excuse my French, was dog shit. It really was. It was awful. I don't get it. I don't get it. So they come highs of 2023, do fantastic, and then 2024 they're inconsistent as ever. And poor Fernando's trying to fight his way most of the time P14, 15. And I think probably this season as well might be that. I mean, they might be slightly better, but there's no actual. I don't know. The environment at Aston Martin seems off. However, they do have Adrian Newey coming in, so that might be a boost of confidence. I feel like Adrian Newey coming in will be a big boost of confidence, but that'll be for 2026, not for this season. So yeah, my P10 is Fernando Alonso. P9 is the smooth operator Carlos Sainz. P9 in the Williams. I think he will just outperform Albon this season. I think he'll have a buttload of confidence. He has a point to prove. As sort of I highlighted when sort of Kieran mentioned Carlos. Generally, I'm a bit biased here. One of my favourite drivers on the current grid is Carlos, so I'm going to have to put him a little bit higher. But I mean, I generally see him in the top 10. It all depends on the Williams. I rate Williams quite highly this season, and I rate Sainz and Albon highly this season. And I think generally, I think they're probably the third or fourth best pairing this season. It depends if they get into a rivalry. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that they settle down, help each other, and help the team get back. I would love to see a Williams podium, and I think that might happen this year. That is my bold prediction. Carlos Sainz will be on that podium in the Williams this season. I don't know which race. Sure, I genuinely see it.
It will be hilarious.
Yeah, I genuinely see it. It will be like
also. Yeah, I could see Carlos getting on that.
There we go. We're on this.
But
me and Kieran, we're on the same wavelength there. Half the time, the other time not.
Some things a little bit different placements, but yeah, most of the time we can be quite similar. But yeah, no, I can see Sainz getting a podium, and I think it would be hilarious if it's a Ferrari 1-2 and then Sainz in P3.
Yeah, so my P9 is Carlos Sainz. Kieran's P9, however,
my P9 is Fernando Alonso. Just switched Alonso and Sainz around from what you said. But I think I like your shout better. I can't lie.
Oh,
I'm like, I've put it, and I'm like, is that true? Like,
go with your gut.
it could go either way. It could go either way. I think Sainz Alonso is definitely going to be P9 and 10, but could be either or.
Oh, so the battle of the Spaniards. Ooh.
Yeah,
P9, that'll be spicy. That would be spicy.
I think that's gonna happen, and it's gonna be quite entertaining. But yeah,
No.
my P8 is Liam Lawson. He is gonna get screwed over by Red Bull. Everybody knows it. I think even he knows it. If your teammates with, you're gonna get screwed over. Like, Red Bull do not care about you if your name is not Max Verstappen.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. If say he's leading the Grand Prix, like, I would like to see him get a win, just because I always find it funny if Verstappen's teammate wins and Verstappen doesn't.
Okay.
But I feel like obviously he's in a Red Bull, so he's gonna do good. But compared to Verstappen, he's not gonna be it. It's sort of the bottom driver in a top 4 car.
So my P8 is Kimi Antonelli. He will be the best rookie this season. Yeah, so I think Antonelli will have a good season. I think he will get a race win, whereas Lawson will not. That's why I think I've put Antonelli as my rookie of the year already, though nothing's been proven that. I just think the Red Bull's going to be quick in the Merc over the course of the season. And the Mercedes 8's going to be inconsistent because I think they're working towards 2026 anyway. So Antonelli P8 and then Liam Lawson P7. What my top rookie is, I just feel like Lawson and the Red Bull are going to work. I generally see it. I see Lawson as a long-term Red Bull driver. I say Verstappen, for whatever reason, retires in the next couple of years. Lawson will be number 1 driver. I don't think they'll bring anyone in. I think Lawson will be first driver. I think Red Bull... I used to be sort of, why is Lawson got the Red Bull seat over Yuki? But actually looking at it, Lawson I think has more potential than Yuki. I think he's more calmer than Yuki. I think he's been a Red Bull driver for ages now. He's finally got this opportunity, and I don't think he's going to let it go. He's not going to let it run away. I'm also going to disagree with your thing of Red Bull screwing him over. I just think that because Max Verstappen is their guy, they're going to aim the car towards Max. That might then in turn screw Lawson, but I think Lawson will adapt.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I've put him ahead of Antonelli.
P7 is Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, okay, so we switched again.
And this is the other rookie that I was talking about earlier that has world champion potential.
Ooh, I like it.
I think Antonelli has more world champion potential than Liam Lawson.
Okay, yeah, back that. I'm back that.
Obviously, he's 18, so obviously still very new to the world of motorsport. I've got him P7. I agree with you when you said he will get a race win. It wouldn't surprise me if he outscored Russell, but part of me couldn't put him ahead of Russell in there, so I put him P7. He'll be the only rookie to win this season.
Yep.
I think he'll get a race win, a few P2s, and in 6th, I've got his teammate Russell.
Okay.
Obviously, I just mentioned wouldn't surprise me if Anthony outscored him, but I couldn't put them ahead, so I've just put him right behind him. I think Mercedes is going to be the closest team of how the two drivers are performing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Obviously, I know, but yeah, I think Mercedes is going to be very, very close between the two drivers. So they are my 7 and 6.
Okay. My P6
Who's your?
is also George Russell. Basic for the same reasons as Kieran. I think we'll get a couple of race wins this season. I think out of my top 8, Lawson will be the only one without a win. George Russell, I think, will be the team leader this season, taking a big role from Lewis Hamilton there, but I think he will be a good number one driver. I think Russell and Antonelli will be teaching each other stuff. I think they're a really good pairing, actually. I genuinely think Total Wolff has done the best he can. I think he has done the best outcome there is for obviously Lewis Hamilton announcing his move to Ferrari. I genuinely see that Wolff has done amazing stuff. I think bringing Antonelli in is a good shout. With George Russell as I think will be the team leader, I think he will just slightly perform ahead of Antonelli this season. And bring on 2026, I think, because that's going to be a cracking season. So yeah, P6 is Russell. Moving on
And now
to our top 5. This is where, for me, it gets absolutely close. You can change any of these top 5 drivers out. So, my P5 is Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. So, I think it will be very, as I said before, it will be close between the top 5. I just feel like Piastri will be, I don't want to say the worst out of the top 5, because that's not what I mean. I just feel like over the course of the season, the top 4 have a little bit more experience, and I think argue probably pace-wise a little bit. I don't want to use the word better, but I think experience comes over everything.
Yeah.
And I think Oscar Piastri will do a solid job in the McLaren. I think he will bring the fight to Lando Norris, which I'm going to have to say will probably be the number 1 driver. But Piastri's not going to like that, and I think Piastri's going to be like, hang on here, I can show that I'm quicker than Lando. But I don't think McLaren will listen, and I think Piastri will unfortunately fall into the P5 position.
I agree. Piastri P5, and I think, obviously I mentioned McLaren earlier, they're going to focus so much on Lando this year.
Yep.
He is going to get screwed over by the team, massively. Actually, last year was really close, and then halfway through the season, you could tell that McLaren wanted to focus on Lando to push Max.
Yes.
It didn't work out. So I think this year they're going to just off the bat focus on Lando all season.
Yeah.
So I know that's what teams do. Like, I'm like, oh, that's unfair because it happens. It happens all the time. But yeah, it's not going to be Piastri's fault. I think if McLaren ran how it ran in 2024, Piastri could be like up there. I feel like but he's in my P5.
Okay. My P4 is Lewis Hamilton will be P4 for me. This might come as a shock to some of you, or some of you might think, well, he's too high. For me, Lewis Hamilton coming into the Ferrari team, I think he'll do a solid job. Don't get me wrong, he's arguably the greatest of all time, one of the GOATs. I don't. He will get a couple of wins. I just feel like across the season, I don't know if he will be able to adapt as quickly as the top 3 to their own teams.
Yes,
I just feel like
I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be in the fight
because the thing with Lewis and what I've seen for the last 3 years, he needs the car to be his style, I think. Or he needs the car to gel with him perfectly. You've seen that in Silverstone, that the Merc and him gelled so well, and he got the race win. I just feel like the Ferrari is going to be definitely a challenge for him. I read this morning that, which is probably good news for Lewis, that Charles Leclerc said that him and Lewis have their driving styles actually fairly similar. So they both like to something about the entries to each corner. They're the same in that, which is good because then the car can go to both of them, and the car can be into the entries, if you get what I'm trying to say. So it's like both drivers.
Yeah, the two cars are going to be very similar if the two drop styles.
It was like, oh, do I change my mind then with Lewis, and do I put Lewis a little bit higher? But no, I think for the first season at Ferrari, he will do a solid job. I think he'll have race wins. I think he will gel with the team. By the end of the season, I think he will be up there. He will be P1, P2. I just feel like the first half of the season, he might, I don't want to say struggle, I just feel like there will be the top three drivers that I put will just, because they've had experience in their team, they're just going to finish above him. And that's what I think. And I might be wrong, because I think Lewis Hamilton might just be fantastic from first race, but we don't know. And honestly, I think Lewis P4 is a decent prediction to do. But I will hand over to Kieran for his P4.
It's Lewis Hamilton.
It's his own as well. Wow, okay.
Let's be same reasons. Yeah. Literally, yeah. Took the words out of my mouth.
My P3.
Okay.
My P3 is Lando Norris in P3.
Oh,
Lando Norris is P3 for me. The McLaren will be fantastic this season. I think it will probably be one of the best cars. I just have a sneaky suspicion that a certain Oscar Piastri is not going to like that Lando Norris is the number one driver. And I think there's going to be a lot of tension brewing in that team. And I think, bold prediction, Piastri will accidentally cost Norris the championship. There you go.
Accidentally in quotation marks?
No, I think it will generally be Piastri's gonna fight every race for himself. Not in a selfish way, but I think he wants to prove himself, and he's gonna be like, McLaren, I'll fight for you, but I'm also gonna fight for me because I've got a point to prove. And he's gonna be like, well, I'm sorry if Norris is in my way. I ain't listening to proprietary rules.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, because I'm probably wrong, but I think that accidentally, Piastri will cost Norris the championship, and Norris will be P3.
My P3 is Max Verstappen.
I think the two drivers that I have left, their pace, I just think is going to be unmatched this year. I think, obviously, I know technically we had a title fight last year, but did we really? You know?
Yeah.
Mathematically, yes, Lando could have won the title, but he never really could. But I think this year, it's actually be a really close battle, which I think Max is going to be in, but then he's going to have he's going to have a late DNF, and late in the season, which screws him over massively. Because I don't think the Red Bull car is going to be as good. I think it's going to be arguably worse than the 2024 car. Because it's sort of the first car. It's the first non-newy car.
Yeah.
For Red Bull, and I think they're going to be quite lost without it. Only for this season. I think by 2026 they'll pick themselves back up.
Yeah.
But I think not having a newy car.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be inconsistent, and Max is going to try his best. Yeah. But yeah, I've got my P3.
Okay. I like that. I back that. I don't like it. I actually don't like it. No, because my P2 is Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is P2 for me. And this is really unlike me. Because now Kieran's like, hold on, he's gone from this person in P1. Really? Okay, so Charles Leclerc is P2. Why? It's tricky because the top two can change for me. I think the Ferrari will be absolutely fantastic this season. But like Norris, And it won't be Lewis's fault, it won't be Charles Leclerc's fault. I just think Leclerc and Hamilton will push each other so much, and I think they will bag the constructors. I feel like them two might battle races to, I don't want to say prove themselves, but they want to score the most points for the team. And I think a certain sneaky driver is going to take advantage of that I'm going to disagree, in a Newey car, because I know for a fact that Adrian Newey has worked on the 2025 car. That's why he wasn't able to join till the 1st of January 2025. I think that's correct. And I think Red Bull wanted to keep Newey to work on the car. Because I think in the mid-2024, when it was sort of Newey announced that he was going to Aston Martin to work with Fernando Alonso, I think Red Bull had a sneaky clause in there, or might not even be sneaky, it might just be a clause to say, listen, Newey, what, you're still going to have to work on our car for 2025. And I think Adrian Newey would have done that anyway. So it will be a Newey car, but it won't be a Newey upgraded car. So the upgrades coming in won't be Newey. Well, and that might actually conflict. You might have a Newey set-based car, but they bring upgrades in and they might actually struggle, Red Bull. Whereas Ferrari and McLaren, I think their upgrades will work throughout the season.
Yep.
So I understand why you've put Max Verstappen P3 now. So I fully understand. So anyway, I shall hand over to your P2.
My P2 is, once again, he's thrown out a world championship. It's Lando.
Okay.
So you can probably work out who I've got winning the season this year, but we'll come to him later because obviously you spoke a little bit about Max, so I'm going to speak a little bit about Charles after Lando. I think the tension, that's the only reason. If the gap between Lando and Piastri was bigger, to have a clear first and second, Lando could win, but it's the fact that Piastri is such a similar driver in terms of skill in my eyes. There's going to be far too much tension for them for one thing, and I feel like as the same reason I think McLaren are going to come second in the constructors as well, really. Just there's going to be so much tension in the team, but I think Lando, I think he's going to get overwhelmed by pressure and things, and he's just going to fumble at the last hurdle. Whereas I look to sort of Charles and Ferrari. He also has something to prove. Yeah. He's the teammate of arguably the greatest F1 driver of all time. They're good friends. But obviously Leclerc knows how to drive a Ferrari. Yeah. So I think sort of for this season, while Lewis is still getting used to it, they're going to be like, lad, this is your chance to show that you are ready to be a world drivers champion. And I think you'll go, you know what? Yes, I agree. And I think we are going to see a fantastic display of pace by the whole top three. I think it's going to be a very, very close top three. Obviously, as I mentioned, that Verstappen is going to have... I think he could crash because the handling of the car or engine failure near the end of the season, which is going to sort of take him out of the race. And I think Lando's pressure is eventually going to get to him, and he's going to have a bad race or two that puts him out. And then I feel like Leclerc is going to be the most consistent driver this season. I think he is going to win. I think he's going to win a good few races. I think him and Lewis are going to be a great pairing. They're gonna know when Lewis knows when to step aside.
Okay.
And I think he'll accept it this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charles Leclerc world champion.
Wow. Okay. So obviously for me, if you've gathered, P1 is Max Verstappen. He will be a 5-time world champion. There you go. I don't know, part of me, and I've never felt this, but I mean, I've never been I don't a big Verstappen fan. I've grown in the past couple of years to actually warm up to Max, and I think he is probably, you could argue, the most talented driver on this grid. You genuinely could. Most talented driver on the grid. And I think he will use that talent. And obviously, as I said before, in that car. And I think that man, Max Verstappen, this is where I disagree with Kieran here, will be the most consistent. I think Max Verstappen, he's proven that he can be consistent. I think he'll be the most consistent, followed by Charles Leclerc. I just, there's so about Max that he might not have the best F1 car. That doesn't mean he's not going to get the win. And I think over the season,
That is true.
I just don't know. I just see over the season, he's just going to slightly outperform Leclerc and Norris to pinch the title. It will be a three-way fight for the title. It will be Max, Leclerc and Norris. That's mic drop. It's a three-way battle. Max Verstappen pips it from Leclerc and Norris. There you go.
Will this season be better than 2024?
Will 2025 be better than 2024?
I think it will
Do
be.
you think it will be? Do you know what? There's the question for you guys. That's the question for the viewers.
Yes.
Will 2025 be better than 2024? Leave your comments on the YouTube.
And let us know your biggest. Let us know who you think is going to be the champion, and let us know your big thing that's going to happen this season.
That is our driver predictions for 2025. A little bit of a longer episode there, obviously, because there's 20 drivers and only 10 teams, so slightly longer episode. I'm hoping we're keeping you entertained throughout. If not, we apologise. We do apologise, but no.
And
So, as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe if you're on the YouTube, follow us on the Spotify, also follow us on the Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, TikTok, I think. I haven't posted it yet. We will hopefully, when this video goes up, we'll have a post out there. Hopefully sort of where you can reply on the Instagram, or Kieran does the TikTok, so he knows more information than me. I presume TikTok is like Instagram, where you can still reply the same.
yeah, there's still comments. There's still
You can comment if you don't want to comment on the YouTube. You can comment on the Instagram and the TikTok, and it's obviously just GearBox F1 Podcast. Smack that in on Instagram or on TikTok, and you hopefully should find us. Hopefully.
and
And yeah, obviously links will be in the description and
Yep.
everything, so.
remember rightly, our next episode will be
The
uh,
first ever race prediction in Australia.
yeah, our predictions for Australia.
That would be cool. Yes, actually, about that, a post will come out, hopefully next Monday or Tuesday, just sort of highlighting what the format is for the race predictions. Just because after recording, me and Kieran will have a little chat, sort of say what's the format's going to be like, because we want to keep it different to other F1 podcasters and other F1 predictors. Want to have our own spin on it, and you'll see in that post what we come up with. But anyway, before we rant on, because we've actually done the main part of the video, which was the driver predictions. As I said, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. So leave your predictions below, whatever platform you want, and we should wrap up this video. This is the second video we've done, Kieran. To many more, I think. To many more. I shall lift up my empty can of Fanta Zero Sugar as a.
And I just have a bottle next to me at all times. So here we are.
We should lift to the second episode to many more. I have been your presenter, JJ, and I've been always joined by my friend, Kieran. So bye-bye from me.
And it is goodbye from me.
There we go.